الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين ونستغفره، نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Inshallah, my khutbah is dedicated towards the cultivation and the discipline of our new generation. With no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed us with many blessings, and one of them having a family. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated in Surah An-Nahl, Surah number 16, verse number 72, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. There is a chair on your right side. وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وجعل لكم من أزواجكم بنين وحفدة ورزقكم من الطيبات. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made for you from your own nature, your own self, wives, mates, companion. And from your wives He made for you sons and grandchildren. Having a wife, it is a ni'mah from Allah. Giving you a partner, a wife, and made the wife to be from your own nature, a human being like you. That means she have a feeling and concern same way like you as a man. Your wife also is a human being. She has a feeling and concern. So this is number one, that Allah, the ni'mah that He made for you from your own nature and your own self. Made, and He made it to be from your own nature. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that He also made for you from your wives, children, sons, daughters, and also from the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that extend your life more and that you get to live to see your grandchildren. All these things is part of Allah's ni'mah. And وَرَزَقَكُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ, and He provides for you from the good things, all the good things. So we have to be grateful to Allah. We have to be thankful to Allah for having a family, for having the children, for having grandchildren. Believe it or not, our children are real and true investment. This is the real investment, and this what is going to be there for you. When you die, you leave your money behind you, somebody else get it and use it. Your cars, your building, your clothes, everything. But those are the seeds that you planting during your life. So these seeds are the future of Islam. And if we did not cultivate these seeds and the ground, the future of Islam is in our hands after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we do right, when we choose our mate, when we do right, when we raise our children, when we keep eye on our grandchildren, this is the real investment. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had counted this to be one of the athar of son of Adam, one of the things that will benefit you after your death, by saying إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث. When son of Adam die, all his good deed is seized, is stopped, frozen, with exception of three things. One of them, ولد صالح يدعو له, a righteous son which will make dua for him. As a result of this, that we need to spend more time to see how we raise our children. As you know, I always telling you that the khutbah is not a time to be given seminar or given a lecture. It is something to remind you. And you're supposed to do the homework to go to understand more and to take the khutbah and to put it in practicality and reality of daily life. What I'm talking today about children in general, but specifically I want focus in this khutbah about children from 1 year going up to 5 or 6 years old. One thing that the parents, maybe you are not familiar with this, but in some countries they do it. Father or mother, when a child do something, they did not spank them, but they slap them on the face. And this is a very bad habit. First of all, it is haram. It's forbidden in Islam. Even in a time of fighting that the Prophet ﷺ is saying what the meaning is, إِذَا قَاتَلَ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ فَلْيَجْتَنِبِ الْوَجْهِ. If one of you happen to fight with his brother, he has to avoid the face. Face is respected. You are not supposed to slap a child, boy or a girl, on their face as a way of discipline or correction. This will raise a child to be a
Renegade.
no, I'm looking for a word. Coward. To be a coward. When he grow up, anybody do like this, move his hand, you found him right away. He step back and move, because now the fear became always in his heart, seeing somebody waving his hand in front of him. And we supposed to make and train our children to be brave, to be strong, because these are the men of the future. Those are the soldiers and the protector of Islam. Plus, this will deteriorate his personality as a human being. For a matter of discipline, you shouldn't, not even if the child neglect his prayer in this age. You're supposed to remind him, you're supposed to discipline him, but under no case you're supposed to hit anybody. Not a husband, not a wife, not a mother, not a father, not a teacher, that for you to slap somebody on the face. We need to keep in mind that we are not supposed to, for any small mistake the child do it, just start to scream and yelling, expressing our feelings through loud voice. The child will also learn this and will copy you when he get mad and want to express himself to his parents. And this is not the proper citizen in the ummah, that we want that everything he have to be shouting and for him to get so angry. We have to set ourselves a good example for our children, how we correct them and how we express our anger or our disappointment with them. Some parents, when they get angry, they aim to things to take it, to break it. And this became a methodology to take this anger out of themselves. Your child is watching you, and your child will be doing the same thing. He will be breaking things in the house, and this will be a way of expressing himself and how he will release or relieve his anger through breaking things. And this is common in some families and some people, breaking glasses, throwing hammer or anything on the mirror as a way to express themselves or to get their anger out of their mind. As a parent, you shouldn't at any time argue in front of your children or grandchildren. You have to learn to go in behind a door or some place to discuss the problem. Say, I didn't plan to get angry, I didn't know that it's going to be like this. But you're supposed to be careful, because you may start with this argument, and now will be a heated argument, now may be a fight. And we know that some men right away, they start feel that green lights, they can beat up their wives. Now the child is watching, and you have to understand that the mother is the most dearest person to the child. And you break the heart of the child by seeing the most beloved person to him getting beaten by you. So you never ever start an argument and fighting, you and your wife or wife and husband, in front of the children. We should take advantage of this young age, early age of the children, especially 2 years and a half, 3 years max, and direct our children to learn the Quran, to memorize the Quran. Your child is not worried about job, is not worried about a degree, is not worried about whom he is going to marry. He don't have all these problems in his life. So basically his mind is clear and open. He doesn't have too much worries in his life. So let's take advantage of this time and try to install the Quran in their mind and their heart. Let's develop the memory of the children by telling them good stories, especially about the prophets or the Sahaba. Later on, try to ask the child to rehearse or to repeat it to you in their own expression, so you can see the ability and to teach and train the child to keep things in his mind, and to also to have these examples knowing about the prophets and the Sahaba from early age. When we try to discipline our children, some people, they use fearful stories and images and fabricated images and threatens the children with the boogeyman or with the afreet or whatever, different names and different culture, different countries. You do this, such and such will get you. They will eat your left ear. They're going to scratch you and all these things. This is not a way of discipline. You making your child from early age that became scared from things that is not even exist, neither it is right. In addition to this will be a disturbance when they go to sleep. They be always scared, and again we go back to have a coward child, boy or a girl. They could not go sleep by themselves. They could not be in the bed without the mother there or the father. They could not even go to the bathroom at night. All these things. Why? Because with our unprofessional methods of training or discipline, we don't know how to raise our children. Because most of us that spend the 25 or the 30 years of their life in the beginning, from a school to a school, from a degree to degree. Some of our daughters, they don't know even how to boil an egg. And some of the boys, they don't know even how to wash a dish, because always from a school to school, no training, no discipline, not given any responsibility. It has to be some kind of a training from an early age. It's simple things that prepare your bed. Try to fold the cover. Try to clean your room. Try to take the trash. You have to assign your child responsibility from age of 3, and you grow with them with this responsibility. You give it a little bit more and more. Give your child always opportunity that he will sit with you when you have guests, when you have friends, when you have companions. Never embarrass him in front of the visitors. And never tell him, shut your mouth, you don't talk. Children, they like to express themselves. And this is the way you're going to know. Later, after the guest will leave, you let him know, without embarrassing him in front of the guest, that you were not supposed to talk like this. You were not supposed to drink before the guest drink. You are not supposed to put your hand in the food before the guest. There is a discipline that we have to teach our children. One other thing is very important, that we have to be careful about anything we do in front of the children, especially if it's bad habits. Smoking cigarette for men or women. Women going, before they go outside with all kind of makeup, the children will do the same thing. And you see a child 3 and 4 years old putting a piece of a chalk or a pencil in his mouth, trying to imitate his father, that he's smoking. Don't do this. You found your little girl, 2.5 years old, 3 years old, taking the makeup and put it all over her face, her legs. Why? Because she saw the mother. We have to be very careful with this seed where we planted. And we have to be careful with the environment. And one of the biggest mistakes that we do here, especially in America, that we take our youngest 3 years old, 4 years old, to a babysitter, or what you call this nursery in early age, And this nursery is what? Run and directed by non-Muslims. They have their own habits, they have their own words, they have their own songs, singing about Jesus, singing about Christmas, and your child is like a sponge. Whatever he sees, that he will catch it. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility as parents that we watch what this sponge is taking in the early age, because this is what is going to remain with the children for all their life, believe it or not. He will remember all these things, 3 and 4 years. One last thing, because the time, not because the list is finished. Some of us, they don't care or don't pay attention of taking shower totally naked with their own children, 3 and 4 years old. This is totally wrong. Yes, they are in the early ages, they are not bad. You give them the wrong message that is okay to be naked in front of others. You can take the child, bathe the child, or tell the child to sit in the water and things like this, but you as adult, you are not supposed to be totally naked in front of the child, doesn't matter. And some people make the logic or sense, she is my daughter, she is from me. And one of the things that we see, even mothers, they say, with short clothes, or wearing very short clothes over the knees in front of their own daughters. Doesn't matter if the daughter is young girl or a big girl. It is part of your aura. It is part of the aura that you are not supposed to expose it. But we're talking about an early age development. We have to be very careful, and we have to go through our culture and sift many things that we do wrong in front of our children, so we can have a better future for our children, inshallah. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminded us in this surah about the gift, that means for us to be grateful, that for us to be doing well with the blessing of Allah, with our children, with our sons, with our daughters, with our grandchildren. And we have to understand, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had told us, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of you is a shepherd. Each one of you is a governor. Each one of you going to be questioned about his government or his subject. وَقِفُوهُمْ إِنَّهُمْ مَسْئُولُونَ. Stop them. We're going to have to question this. That every ra'i going to be questioned about his ra'iyah. Every governor will be questioned about his government. Doesn't matter if it's one child or 15 children, 1 grandchildren, 2 grandchildren. It is part of your responsibility as a Muslim. In conclusion, we have to be very careful allowing the children watching TV or using the TV as a mean of a babysitter. Because the mother wants to have some convenience or some relaxing in her mind. May Allah bless all the mothers and the fathers, and the mothers more, because they spend most of the time with their children. So they want to break. How they break? By putting something for the children. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you in simple words. The cartoons is nothing except what you call minimize the videos that you watch for adults, if it's fighting, if it's cursing, whatever it is. So this is a small to minimize the great picture, but you have the player of the picture cartoons. So you have to be careful. And the cartoons will show the same thing. And you found the player in the cartoon, boyfriend and girlfriend, short dresses, doing all kind of things, the same thing like what the father and the mother may be watching at night, so there is no difference. TV is not a proper way for education or discipline. It hurts the children more than benefits the children. And you're going to be responsible, and believe it or not, the child has nothing too much in their mind to think or to worry about it. What they see, going to be talking the same, going to be acting the same. Who's responsible? Me and you. Because Allah had put us in charge, make us to be husbands, make us wives, make us fathers, make us mothers, make our grandfathers and parents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O who you believe, save yourselves and your children from hellfire. This part and some of the means and ways to save our children from hellfire, Islam doesn't tell us go and put your children in hellfire. What brings the people to hellfire? The sins, the haram. So now, instead of giving some kind of cultivation and giving the proper environment for this small plant to grow, you're giving a corrupted environment. From the TV, babysitters, nursery, all kind of things. We have to be careful with what we say, how we talk, how we relate to our children, and we have to understand this exactly like a tree. The trees that you see outside, if you go a little bit crooked like this, you can take a stick, you can take a rope, you can tie it to the window, and it comes straight again. But when you leave this small baby plant until it becomes stronger, now you can put a rope or you can do whatever you want. It's not because it's too late to correct and erect this tree. The same thing will be with our children. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your responsibility and keep eye on your children. This is your investment, and this was going to help you in the day of judgment. This was going to help you when you are in your grave, if you have a righteous son which he supplicate for you. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. Oh Allah, grant us from our wives and our children a coolness for our eyes, and make us a leader for the pious and the righteous one.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت صلاة قد قامت صلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استووا واعتدلوا تراصوا. Straighten the line is part of the salah. Keep the line straight during the salah and until you finish. Please look to your right, to your left to make sure the line is straight, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot. Don't leave any gaps. Keep the line straight during the prayer. استووا اعتدلوا. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.